Hi everybody. Well, I'm going to start on the project of repairing my roof, and I'll try to give you some before and after and maybe even some action shots. But here's what I'm up against right now. It snowed about 9 inches last night, so things are quite different here at Camp Serendipity than they were yesterday. I'm really glad that we took the DNR guy and the logger around to see the logging operation, but you can see the property is full of snow, and show you what that does to the repair site. We'll look back here behind the building, see that it's pretty much full of snow, and so that won't slow me down too much. But the next step is to try to finish up that scaffold deck so I can get up there and work, and then start working on the repairs. My first thought on getting the planks up on the deck was to haul them up from the outside on the ladder like I did the first one. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll come up here in the loft, maybe I can get them out through the window. And it looks like I can. It looks like that's going to work pretty well. If we look out the loft window, we can see that my scaffold is hanging right here within reach. And this is the plank that I put up yesterday, and or last week, or whenever it was, last week. And now I think I can just slide the new planks out. Okay, got a 2x10 to start with. Can't swing it very far. I think you can get it out there anyway. We'll see. Just get it out the window. Lift it up. And slide. There. Just have to make sure the center of gravity is over some support, and then both ends over the plank. I'm going to make it. Well, I got it. It's spanning the 4x4s, but at least it's outside. I can do the rest from up on the ladder. span. I'm going to run it all the way to the end of these foots. Nice airplane propeller to it. Now, that looked pretty good. I'm going to shove another one out through the window. And I have that one to rest it on, so it'll be a lot easier. So soon we'll have this thing bent over. Just to make sure I don't slip down this cliff. Some ways the snow makes it easier, some ways the snow makes it harder. First trip is harder. After that, it gets easier. I know this footing right here is a little bit dangerous, so I'm going to take it easy. Okay. There. After lunch and a nap, I got a deck made up there with a few 2x4s, 2x12, and a few 2x8s, 2x6, and I got my body up on top of the platform. I bent one of those roof panels back so that I could get my body through there, and I've removed some of the TJI debris. They came apart, so I pulled some of the flanges off. And so the next thing I think I'll do is get up there with tin snips and remove a lot of that metal so that I can work up there. And it didn't break off right at the purlin there. I'll still have the TJI rafters rest on that purlin, but I'll just put them alongside the ends of the rafters that were there. The OSB, you can see, broke off about 18 inches this side of it, so I can probably salvage that OSB. And then there's a big sheet of OSB that's bent down underneath those panels that looks good, but probably won't be able to salvage it by bending it up. We'll see. And I didn't inspect the damage at the top of the ridge pole, but I imagine that'll be easy to just dismantle the miter joints and miter the new rafters, stick them in right where the old ones used to be. So that's the job ahead of me. That's where I'm at today. After a considerable amount of work, I got these 4 pieces trimmed off of the damaged part of the roof so I can work up there. So I'll show you what it looks like now being opened up. So now you can see I can work up there. I can walk around on that platform and reach up to the roof. I really doubt if I can salvage any of that metal, but if I can, it'll be that part right there that's still there. But that's all I'm going to do today. It's getting too cold and wet. Well, now that the scaffold platform is in place and I can climb up there and work because I got the metal removed, I'll take you up there and show you the next priority that just developed when I got up there. It's not too bad. It's not quite as weather tight or as rodent tight as I thought. It's still closed to rain and snow. It can't get in the building, but warm air can leak out, so I need to plug that up. And then for rodents, they're still shut out, but only by a screen that they could chew through if they ever found it. So what I need to do is get up there and plug that up, and I'll show you what I mean when we get up there. Okay, so here's my scaffold deck, but as you can see, it's got snow and they're wet boards and they slant, so this is going to be super slippery and dangerous. I got to be extra careful walking around on here. So I will not walk and shoot. I will stand in one place and then get the camera back out. But this is the exposure right here, where you can see that screen to the left of that one rafter that's still intact. Warm air can come out that, and rodents could go in if they chewed a hole in the screen. But what I need to do is plug it up with 1x8 boards temporarily until I get all the work done fixing this. Now if I look in there, I can see there's a place where rodents could just walk in. So what I need to do is put boards in this gap right here. And I'm going to do that right now. That's going to be my next priority. Take little pieces of board, or maybe if I can fit a board this way, but maybe not. I'll plug up that hole so air can't come out as bad and mice can't get through. And then I'll go to work repairing the damage. But at least you can see I can move around up here. This deck is awfully slippery, so I'm not going to do a lot of work today. Okay, I'm back up again. I put a little piece of skinny OSB on top of those 2x4s to make it so it's not so slippery. And I discovered the problem's a little worse than I thought. It really is not mouse tight at all. What happened is that this part of the roof got lifted up about an inch, it looks like. Maybe an inch and an eighth. And you're looking in the crack that was lifted up. You can see inside the cabin through that crack. On top of the crack in this location is a 1x2, and then you can see it slips down to fill up the space. That's supposed to be the only space between that 2x6 right up here and the log. So right now we've got about 2.5 inches there. There's supposed to be only 3/4. So it's lifted up that roof all the way from right at the ridgepole. You can see it's down tight, and then it raises up down to this purlin that's probably tight. So what I have to do is temporarily patch that so it's rodent tight, and then once I get the rest of the roof dismantled so I can start repairing it, I'll see if I can draw that roof down or not. It may have to just stay bulged up like that. If so, I'll just put something underneath it and make it tight. So that's what I'm up against. Apologize for the photography, but it's a little awkward up here. So that's about it for this week, except I'll show you the results when I'm done with this work. Okay, got the plan figured out. To start with, I have about a 4 or 5 inch strip of hardware cloth that I formed into a V and jammed in that crack to fill it up to keep the mice out. And then I temporarily screw these little short boards to span that. That'll keep the mice out of this upper part, and it'll prevent a lot of hot air from escaping, and it'll hold it temporarily until I get the whole thing fixed. So I need to make a couple more sections of that hardware cloth, bring up a bunch more of those pieces of board, and then I'll be done for the week. Okay, the patching is done. Got those boards screwed in there. Got hardware cloth behind them to make it mouse tight, and that can stay until I get the whole thing repaired. That's the end of the week. While I'm up here, I'll show you a few things. Look at that hole that got punched underneath by the tree that crashed in here. Must have been a pretty violent deal. And then for those of you that haven't watched my video on scaffolding, I'll show you how this scaffold is made. I have these half-inch rebar anchor hooks that I call them. They're just these loops of rebar that I embedded in the purlin and the ridgepole, 2 on each end, before I put them up. They were super easy and cheap to put in, so I put them in and I use them for rigging and for all kinds of stuff. In this case, I use them to hang my scaffolding, so I have this 1/8" rebar S-hook, hooks into that anchor hook, and it goes down and hooks into a Simpson steel strap, 20 gauge strap that's wrapped around the end of a 4x4, and then it has a 5/16 bolt going through it that the S-hook engages. And then that 4x4 is the cross member holding up the scaffold deck. And on this end of the 4x4 is the same deal. I've got the same Simpson strap bracket, and instead of having a rebar hook going through it, I just have a lag screw going into the log. So it's easy to hook on and unhook and store away. And so that's it. I've skipped 7 or 8 trips up and down the ladder since the last scene. I fell once. There's my sits mark right there where the footing caved in and I fell into the snow. But I'm a lot more careful when I'm up high. So that's it for this week's work. I don't get a whole lot of work done in 1 week, but I make up for it by doing a lot of weeks. So I'll keep you informed of the progress of this repair job. People have asked for it, so I'll make a video showing how I do it. So again, thanks for watching. It's always fun.